Yeah, I just kind of asked you about, you have had a really amazing journey. I've talked to you about it. So, about just this, where you grew up, how you grew up, how you went to school, getting into tech, and then deciding to come into public service. So tell us a little bit about, like, is this where you thought you were going to end up as mayor of San Jose, or how did this all happen?
Well, yeah, growing up as a kid in a small farming town, I barely knew what San Jose was, but I grew up down in Watsonville, which is on the Central Coast. It's where most people's strawberries come from. We're known for Driscoll berries and Martinelli's apple cider as well. It's a big ag town. And I grew up kind of outdoors. I mean, we were out kind of on the edge of town and spent my childhood running around outside, which was great. As I got toward high school age, I have to admit, though, I was a little worried about what my future would be. I didn't know where I would go, and I was sort of ambitious in the sense that I wanted to see the world. I wanted to achieve things. I wanted to get out of what at the moment felt like kind of a stifling small town. I have to say, I love Watsonville. I love going home. My mom's still down there, and there's a lot to be said for it. But I got this work study scholarship to go to an all boys Catholic school in San Jose, a school called Bellarmine. And I had to work on the grounds crew doing maintenance all summer for the school. And then my tuition was forgiven. And it changed my life. I mean, this was one of those fork in the road kind of moments where I got a really excellent education. The Jesuits do a nice job of a well-rounded education, talked a lot about values and philosophy. And kind of our role, our motto was, men for others, kind of this notion of service. It was an all boys Catholic school. And from there, ended up having the incredible opportunity to go to Harvard, which, as you can imagine, coming from a small farming town, was quite a culture shock. Ended up studying politics, philosophy, economics, and leaving with no marketable skills whatsoever. But I did learn a lot. I really enjoyed the experience. I happened totally randomly to be in the same dorm room with Mark Zuckerberg and the folks who started Facebook. So I got to watch social media from its very earliest days. I was involved in student government. It was kind of thinking about how do we use these new emerging tools to facilitate better civic engagement. And so, long story short, after a 2-year stint with Teach for America, I was a middle school teacher here in San Jose. I knew I wanted to come back to San Jose. I skipped over this, but being a high school student here, I just fell in love with this city. Its diversity, the weather, the innovation. I knew I wanted to come back. Taught public school for a couple of years, and then went into the tech sector and spent 11 years, ran into Jen Paulka up in San Francisco, and we were collaborative and competitive at times, but building civic tech tools. We were, figuring out how do we take all this new technology and apply it to the public sector and trying to drive better outcomes for the community. And when that second startup I was involved with, Brigade, was ultimately acqui-hired by Pinterest, and I found myself out of a job, I was thinking about doing another startup, but our city council seat opened up, and I got this great advice, which was, don't worry about all the endorsements and even the, you got to fundraise a bit, but really focus your time on knocking on doors. Just go walk all the neighborhoods, knock on all the doors 2-3 times, listen to people. It's a district of 100,000 people. I spent 9 straight months, pretty much 7 days a week, knocking on doors. And it was like this incredible, I don't know, ethnographic study or something. I mean, I stood on doorsteps getting yelled at for the fact that this pothole hadn't been filled in 20 years down the street or whatever. I mean, it was a fascinating experience. And I think through those 9 months, I kind of internalized the perspective of my neighbors who don't really know what's going on at City Hall. They kind of hear vague things occasionally that break through. They know that they pay a lot in taxes. And they just, their experience of government is what they experience when they step out of their front door every day, when they drive down a road, drive past a homeless encampment, when they're, if they're applying for permits to start a new business or remodel their kitchen. I mean, it's this kind of day-to-day experiential feel that they get for whether or not things are going in the right direction. And I definitely came away from that experience with this reform mindset, this feeling that we should have a mission of making government work, making it better, making it more focused, more efficient, more technology forward to deliver better outcomes, because serving in government is a privilege. And I think it's the work we do is kind of sacred work of maintaining public trust and using other people's money to make everybody's life better. And I'm thrilled to be in this role, and it's a real honor to be able to be mayor of the largest city in Northern California.